episode of Who Would Win, a show that completely ignores anything important happening in the world and instead focuses on a fictional battle between characters from the worlds of comics, sci-fi, and fantasy. I'm your host, James Gavsie. As always, I'm joined by I don't know what you want to call him, the legend, the epic debater, the man himself, Eric Holmes.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. In today's episode, one of Marvel's most unstoppable forces collides head-on with one of the greatest heroes in animated history. In one corner, rep by Eric Holmes, you've got Juggernaut, Marvel Comics, avatar of Cyttorak, a mystical powerhouse blessed with unstoppable momentum, kind of like the Who Would Win show. And in the other corner, rep by me, of course, it's Optimus freaking Prime, the legendary Autobot leader, and I'm repping him from the classic G1 Transformers animated series from the 1980s. What can I tell you? As usual, I ran the patented Who Would Win Google test, and this dream matchup has definitely been argued online at length for decades. It's just something that people like to talk about. But again, it just never got the Who Would Win treatment until today, that is.
Today's the day.
Today's the day, Eric. Yes. I got to know, what are your thoughts in today's epic matchup?
It's just another example, James, of the type of battles that we bring to the world. And we're doing the world a favor. And it's going to be another epic battle. I know that I will win this one. I will rep the Juggernaut like he's never been repped before. Now, mind you, it is Optimus Prime, but I'm very excited about this battle, and here we go.
You know, it's funny. The first time I met you, you were, if I may, a coach at a school that my kids were going to.
Correct.
You were kind of like the Juggernaut of that school.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm not just trying to say like you're that kind of imposing physically of a human being. It might be also because there was a lack of non-imposing people. You kind of stood out pretty in a great way, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I was like, hey, where's
that loud guy at?
No, I was about to say, are there any real men here? Oh, there's one.
Oh, yeah.
But there are other guys there. It was cool. And Angela's awesome, too.
Yes, absolutely.
But anyway, I'm just trying to say, you were like the Juggernaut of that school.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I remember that one time you ran through a wall, and you were like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
The Juggernaut.
Yeah. I was just like, this is
so
a good
he got
guy.
into character that day.
Yeah, he got into character. This is a good guy.
Baby,
Yeah. You know, when Eric wants McDonald's, don't put it on the other side of a wall.
I want nuggets.
6, 12, or 20.
20, baby.
20 nuggets. That's the only number.
I hate running out of dipping goodies, you know? Like I have all the sauce packets lined up and you run out of the nuggies or the tendies. I hate that. I don't know about you guys at home.
You're not that guy who drinks the sauce, right?
I lick it. Lick it good, too.
We just got a text from McDonald's. They're like, don't ever mention us on the show again. All right. You know, actually, I think Grimace does too, by the way. Uses that same kind of. All right. More importantly,
let's get to
speaking of the Juggernaut in maybe a slightly smaller package, but still very significant, we have the Juggernaut from Beverly Hills himself judging today's episode. Again, the only adult in the room, the unofficial mayor of Beverly Hills. And by the way, I suggest maybe throwing your hat next time for the actual mayor of LA.
Oh,
just putting that out there. Nothing against any of the other candidates. I'm just saying you'd be a good one too. It is the one, the only, everyone's favorite guest. It's Tadeo. Tadeo, welcome back to the
Yo. It's so great to be here. You know, I just had an idea. So I'm considering putting on my Platinum Amex. We might just rent the White House lawn for this battle. Optimus Prime versus Juggernaut. I might make a couple calls. Put this on the card. I will make our money back. We love our fans. We love our interaction. We love our YouTube community. Hey, should we go to the White House for this one?
Thank you. I think he's on to something, James.
I think UFC 251 has its new main event. Just putting that out there.
Make the call.
Okay.
I will handle this. I will handle this.
Thank you.
All right. So let me ask you a question. You know, Eric, when we were talking about this, you know, in our production meetings about Optimus Prime and Juggernaut, and I said, I really want to bring Optimus Prime onto the show. You were like, I want to bring Juggernaut. And I was just like, really?
Yes.
I'm like, I think I see the way to victory. And you were like, really? Because I also see the way to victory.
Vision.
Are you saying that there's no way for Optimus Prime to get the win in your mind?
How the details I'm going to give on Mr. Juggernaut himself, it's not possible. It's
okay.
not.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think Juggernaut could win, but I think Optimus Prime has the tools. Again, we're talking strategy versus power. And, size doesn't always win. Strength doesn't always win. Sometimes it's technique. Just putting that out there. All right, Tadeo.
There you go.
Okay, what are you thinking about this? These are two very, contrasting stylistically opponents going at it.
Oh, nicely said.
Thank you. I'm a lyrical poet. What do you think, in your opinion, because you're kind of a connoisseur of athletic activity, what do you think? Is there a time when size and power and just strength overcome the best strategy, or is there always a strategy that can overcome?
Well, this is going to come down to, honestly, Optimus Prime's intelligence and leadership skills versus brute strength and just desire to destroy in Juggernaut. So that's what I need to see. Which one I feel, sways me to get the vote.
I like
and the
it.
win.
Well, here's the thing. Leadership skills, I don't think are really going to come into play because who's he leading?
Himself.
It's himself. Right? Can he
He
lead
gotta
himself to
self-motivate.
victory
It's
the
like
same
boxing.
way Eric Holmes can lead himself to possibly a 20-pack of McNuggets.
That's self-destructive. I mean,
That is
sorry.
Barbecue
Nothing
sauce.
against McDonald's.
I know. I can't wait till McDonald's is like making McNuggets with at least like 20% chicken. That would be
Give
what
us
a day
something
that would
there,
be.
right? Give us something to work
It's a
with.
good start.
Chicken in there.
A little bit.
You know what? I haven't seen Grimace in a long time. I'm wondering if they ground him up and just, anyway. He's actually making a comeback at Comic-Con. Little sneak peek.
Really?
You'll see
Okay.
Grimace at Comic-Con.
Cannot wait.
It's going to be great. All right, look at this. All this sounds great, but we have to get to today's battle. Before we do, let's go over the basics of a who would win match. Now, each debater will make 3 points. Keep in mind the who would win match is a random encounter or neutral location with no prior knowledge and no prep time allowed. And the debater has to stay within the confines of the character. And when it comes to determining the winner, it's the judge who has the final say and will determine which character lost based on death, incapacitation, or battlefield removal with no outside interference allowed. Remember, the bottom line to who would win match is that for one side to get the win, their opponent must be incapacitated for a minimum of 2 minutes where they pose no threat whatsoever. And before we get started, we need to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Comic Crusaders. If you love comics, pop culture, and real conversations with the people actually making the magic happen, you got to check out Comic Crusaders. From indie legends on the rise to industry heavy hitters, Comic Crusaders pulls back the curtain and takes you inside and behind the stories. By the way, a lot of the shows and podcasts are hosted by the one and only Al Mega, one of the greatest minds in geek culture, who does interviews, reviews, reactions, and straight up has the passion for the culture like no one else. And you got to remember, Comic Crusaders has been around for 20 years. That is absolutely insane. It's not hype. It's just pure legacy. So if you want to discover your next favorite comic, meet the creators before they blow up, and even when they've made it, or just vibe with a community that actually loves this culture, go to comiccrusaders.com. That's comiccrusaders.com. Trust me, once you tap in, you're part of the crusade. And now let's get to the tail of the tape for both of our commands. Eric, please give us the details for the Juggernaut.
Yes. So, born Cain Marko. Yes, that's his name. Juggernaut began life as the abusive, get this, you might know this, you might not, the abusive stepbrother of Charles Xavier, the man who will later become the one and only Professor X. Yes. So while serving in the military, it's not cool. He was an abusive stepbrother. But anyways.
I was like, where are you going with this?
No, but it's just like, why? Anyways, all right.
You know what? 12 McNuggets for you, man. That's
Stop
it.
McNuggets for you.
No
All right.
dipping sauce.
I mean, it's not cool. You didn't have to, abuse Charles. Anyway, okay. Cain discovered, I can admit that, the mystical crimson gem of Cyttorak hidden deep within a remote temple. Upon touching the gem, he became the human avatar of the ancient god Cyttorak and was transformed into the unstoppable Juggernaut, gifted with nearly limitless strength, immense durability, and mystical protection that makes him almost impossible to stop. Once he gains momentum, Juggernaut became one of the most feared forces in the Marvel universe. Within Marvel, Juggernaut is known as the embodiment of unstoppable power and a man whose sheer presence can alter the outcome of wars and whose legendary charge has become one of the most iconic abilities in comic book history.
Well done, Eric. I'm actually kind of scared for this battle because if Juggernaut can actually just come at you, how are you going to stop him? And by the way, he's a great brawler. I mean, I'm not trying to give you more momentum. See what I did there?
I'll take it.
For the Juggernaut, but he's legit. All right. Well done. Here are the details for Optimus Prime. Now, millions of years before Earth ever knew of the Transformers, Optimus Prime rose from humble origins on the world of Cybertron and become the leader of the Autobots during their devastating civil war against the Decepticons. Chosen to carry the matrix of leadership, an ancient artifact containing the wisdom and power of generations of Autobot leaders, Optimus became the champion of freedom, courage, and self-sacrifice throughout the galaxy. During the events of the G1, I'm talking about the original animated series, he leads the Autobots to Earth while defending both humans and Cybertronians from the tyranny of Megatron and the Decepticons. By the way, Megatron, our next president of the United States, just putting that out there, he would be amazing. Just been saying this for years. I'm just saying,
nice.
Megatron,
We do like
2028.
Yeah.
And now you have the facts on both opponents today. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Yes. So
Megatron is neither Democrat nor Republican, by the way.
Okay.
I think,
Okay,
that,
people.
that's
Yeah.
very important.
yeah, I think
because
he's an independent.
we were all voting
just
last week.
Megatron.
Or
He's just
weeks-
Megatron.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. They're still counting the votes or not. Anyways, so Optimus Prime, is he a sentient being or like a human? Like, what is Optimus Prime? What are Transformers?
So Transformers are sentient beings. They have their soul is called the spark.
Okay.
Right. So I can't believe my wife is doing a facepalm right now as I'm saying all this. So Transformers, both Autobots and Decepticons, have souls called sparks. Oh. Yeah. And they're kind of like humanoid in terms of the robot form and then transform into whatever vehicles. They sometimes Autobots transform into vehicles because I thought that was the best way to disguise themselves. Decepticons transform themselves into whatever because I think they could disguise themselves. Also, they could be weapons of destruction, whatever it is. But yeah, they're definitely sentient beings. Act like humans, have human motivations for power or to self-sacrifice or all that kind of good stuff.
Interesting. And then Juggernaut is not a mutant. So he became a mutant.
He's mutant adjacent, so he's not a mutant. He's magically powered.
Yes.
Yeah, but his stepbrother, Professor X, is a mutant, clearly.
Mutant.
And he's and he was really originally an X-Men villain, and then just became this powerhouse throughout Marvel.
Okay, so it's basically a villain versus a savior.
Correct.
Okay, all right, let's get to this fight. Let's get to it.
There we go.
Yeah, I know. That's how most people think about me and Eric. But yeah, these two creatures, yeah, exactly. Same
There
thing.
you go.
All right.
You get it.
We get what's going on. 12, but you know what? 20 pack. You're back up to a 20 pack,
Thank
Eric.
you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. But I'll bust you down to 6.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
Here we go. Eric, here's your point number 1.
So literally, Juggernaut, the unstoppable force. All right. So a Juggernaut is not simply strong. He is literally empowered by the mystical entity of Cyttorak, making him one of Marvel's greatest physical powerhouses, a true marvel. His entire reputation is built around one concept. Once he gets moving, almost nothing can stop him. Absolutely nothing. So over decades of Marvel history, Juggernaut has smashed through mountains, military fortifications, energy barriers, and some of the strongest heroes in comics. So characters like Thor, Hulk, Colossus, and entire teams of X-Men have struggled to stop Juggernaut's momentum. So his mystical force field protects him from incredible punishment and allows him to continue advancing through attacks that would cripple most opponents. Now, Optimus Prime may have weapons, okay? But weapons are exactly what Juggernaut has spent his entire career tanking. So this fight starts with one fundamental problem for Optimus. How do you stop a character whose defining characteristic is being impossible to stop? So Juggernaut doesn't need strategy. He doesn't need versatility. He only needs one opening. Once he closes the distance and lands a clean hit, Optimus is subtly dealing with a level of raw power that far exceeds anything he typically faces in the G1 cartoon universe. So Optimus may be a great warrior, it's Optimus Prime, but Juggernaut is a walking natural disaster. And all that is my point number 1, James.
All right, so this is really cool. So Juggernaut is like the unstoppable force, right? He gets momentum, and it's, theoretically impossible to stop him. Cool. So imagine this was a boxing ring, and I have an opponent who comes at me full blast, and it's like, nothing can stop me. And I'm like, cool, go ahead. And I sidestep him, and he keeps going out of the boxing ring and keeps going. And I'm standing in the boxing ring. Who wins that fight? the ref would be counting that guy out, and all of a sudden I'm winning. All I'm trying to say is, and I'm not saying the Juggernaut is just going to blind Rhino his way and Optimus will be like, Olay, and just be like, that Matador and just let him go. And he's like, well, I guess I won. But his shtick is he comes at you, and if he pins you up against something, can trample through you or run right through you. That's the deal. Good thing Optimus Prime's whole deal is not being the biggest, strongest person who can stop things coming his way. He works around problems, right? So let me get to my point number one. Point number one, let's talk about his power, his weapons, and his overall versatility, because Optimus Prime is way more than just a robot with a gun. He's literally one of the most versatile combatants in the entire Transformers franchise. He's the most badass fighter they've got. Seriously, his fighting skill is off the charts. He's got millions of years of experience and at least thousands upon thousands of years of fighting experience, taking on Megatron, who may be one of the top 5 most devastating villains in all of geek culture. I'll just put that out there. By the way, did I say Megatron should run for president in 2028? I'm just saying we would have much better. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. All right, now Optimus Prime's Ion Blaster. Okay, that's his gun. That's repeatedly damaged powerful Cybertronians, including Megatron, Devastator, that King Kong size combat, Devastator that combines into Devastator, the Constructicons. He's taken out entire groups of Decepticons who are all giant robots themselves. So he doesn't operate on simple, small people scale, right? Throughout the cartoon, he routinely battles opponents way bigger than himself, and he wins through a combination. Sure, it's firepower, but it's really mobility and tactics. And unlike Juggernaut, Optimus is not limited to close range combat, right? If Juggernaut can't touch you, what's he going to do, right? He actually has to grab a hold of you. Now, he can thunderclap, I'm pretty sure, right? Like the Hulk does. But even that's not going to do much to Optimus Prime, and I'll explain why in a second. Now, that charge of Juggernauts, I already said it, only works if his opponent stays in front of him and takes him on straight away. And I'm not saying Optimus is going to recognize what Juggernaut can do until he feels it or sees it. And Optimus will be like, that hurt. Got it. This is how this guy operates. I'll use my thousands of years of combat knowledge now to come up with a plan, and he'll do it. This is someone who can exploit terrain, maintain distance. He's going to force Juggernaut to continually chase him rather than dictate the pace of the fight. And most importantly, battlefield removal is a win condition. Optimus doesn't initially need to overpower Juggernaut physically. He just has to use that superior versatility to create opportunities that Juggernaut can anticipate. Plus, here's the thing. Juggernaut actually, I'll say this for another point. What a lot of people know about Optimus Prime, he's listed to be able to lift over 100,000 tons. Okay. Oh, wow. This is not a weak being. Now, I'm not saying he's stronger than Juggernaut, but he is a powerful person. Now, I think Juggernaut weighs 2,000 pounds, something like that.
9'5", 1,900 pounds, about 2,000 pounds.
About 2,000 pounds. Okay. To someone who can pick up, right. But someone who can pick up 100,000 tons, right. According to whatever, actually stronger than that. Why couldn't he pick up, get out of the way, grab Juggernaut from behind, and literally toss him like a football into the next country, right? And battlefield remove Juggernaut. I mean, that's absolutely a way he can do it. That's not the only way. That's just one way. Optimus has a lot of ways to get the win. More on that later. But all that's my point number one.
Wow. All right. This is good. So yes, these are two behemoths of people going at each other here, right? That's why this battle's happening. So the thing though with the Juggernaut is when people actually grab onto the Juggernaut, it's not the Hulk's strong, but even when the Hulk tries to grab him, it's not like they're going to just win the battle if they can even hold on to the Juggernaut. And the Hulk can't even pick him up and throw him, because if he could, he would have done it. And even the Hulk has never even done it before with the Juggernaut.
That's a fair point. All right, cool. But none of that even matters, because let's see what the judge has to say. So Judge, today, I've heard one point from both Eric and myself. Where's your head at so far with this battle?
It's interesting because Optimus Prime seems like he's battle tested over thousands or millions of years, potentially. But the Juggernaut just seems like a force that can't literally be stopped. Not figuratively, but literally when the momentum begins. So it's going to, I'm really envisioning, will this unstoppable freight train of a force be outwitted by a million years of battle tested survival around the world?
It's a good question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. Let's see if Eric has the answer for that. Eric, here's your point number 2.
Well, I would like to start off with this. Durability beyond anything Optimus has ever faced in all these thousands, millions of years. So Optimus Prime has fought giant robots, alien machines, and Decepticon warlords. He has never fought anything like Juggernaut. Juggernaut's durability is not technological. It is mystical. So his power comes directly from Cyttorak, placing him in a category that conventional weapons often fail to affect. So throughout Marvel history, Juggernaut has survived punishment, like I said, from Thor, Hulk, and numerous energy-based attackers. Entire superhero teams have struggled to keep him down. The issue for Optimus is that nearly every attack in his arsenal falls into categories Juggernaut routinely endures. So blunt force, energy attacks, explosions, massive impacts, those are exactly the things Juggernaut is famous for surviving. Every shot Optimus fires is ultimately buying time rather than securing a victory. So eventually I feel Juggernaut gets closer, eventually the battlefield becomes smaller, and eventually Optimus finds himself trapped in a kind of close range slugfest that heavily favors an avatar of Cyttorak. So durability, in my opinion, wins of attrition, and nobody in comics embodies durability better than Juggernaut. And all that, James, is my point number 2.
You know, it's interesting. Can Juggernaut be hurt? Yes. Does Optimus Prime have enough to hurt Juggernaut? I think he's got enough physical force to hurt Juggernaut. Maybe not that bad, but at least make him feel punches. But even I'll admit that's not enough to stop him. And Optimus Prime is not the, you know, if he shoots you, and there's a number of examples of this in the G1, the animated series, where he shoots an opponent and the opponent doesn't go down. Right. And he's like, got it. And he immediately switches to another way to deal with that opponent.
Right.
Right. The other thing is Juggernaut is someone you can talk to. Right. And there's no one who can talk people down better than Optimus Prime. There's one episode of the Transformers where Megatron convinces the Dinobots, who are big, huge, much bigger than Optimus Prime,
with the little brains,
to go against the Autobots, because he says, hey, you're being used. And as they're attacking Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime is outgunned, he talks to Grimlock, the king of the leader of the Decepticons, and convinces him that it's actually Megatron who's not like fighting for him, and that, you know, Optimus is actually his friend. And they're all like, you know, me, Grimlock, think you're right, whatever, and totally turns the tide of battle. My whole point is he can talk to Juggernaut if Juggernaut is open to listening, because he has been, and he's been convinced to stop fighting before. There's no one better at convincing you to stop fighting than Optimus Prime. I'm just putting that out there.
That was a very good, detailed example there, James.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me get to my point number 2. That's about all I got. No, for my point number 2, speaking of which, let's go to combat intelligence and battlefield strategy, because there is no one better than the Optimus Prime. So if Juggernaut's greatest strength is physical power, then Optimus Prime's greatest strength is strategy, right? Maybe leadership, but he's not really leading anything other than himself, but really strategy. And Optimus has commanded the Autobots and led himself through victories through millions of years of war against the Decepticons we talked about before. He's a battlefield commander, not just a fighter. And throughout that animated series in the 80s, he repeatedly develops plans under pressure. He adapts to threats he's never encountered before. This is someone who's going to see, like, okay, the Juggernaut's something I've never dealt with this before. I'll admit that, but I think Optimus has never dealt with something like the Juggernaut before. And all he's going to do is come up with a plan. Remember that show, The A-Team? Where all of a sudden you give him a minute.
That's one of the best shows ever.
Thank you.
It's crazy. The movie, we need a part 2. I'll fund it myself personally.
Very cool. I actually talked with Joe Carnahan, the director of that. I agree with you 100%. We need a part 2.
Yes.
Anyway, this is someone who can pull in the A-team, but at hyper speed when he's in the middle of the fight. And he loves it when a plan comes together. See what I did there? Yeah.
Where's your cigar at?
See, the smile of Judge Tadeo is a win right away.
I mean, he has such a nice smile.
He does. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. So here's the deal. Optimus Prime, like, he's going to identify weaknesses. He's going to exploit terrain. He's going to turn impossible situations into victories. And this is something that's really important to note, because the Juggernaut has lost before to opponents who are insanely weaker than him. So two times he's lost that Optimus Prime could totally outdo this. So one time he lost to Spider-Man. And the way he lost to Spider-Man, maybe he was a weaker version at the time, I don't know. He's attacking Spider-Man. He's going through New York City on a rampage. Spider-Man gets on his helmet, webs his eyes so he can't see. He's hitting him. He's actually saying he's getting hit by the Juggernaut. And all he's doing is helping the Juggernaut not see where, and he keeps moving. And he walks in this deep cement trench for this new building they're putting down. And he gets stuck and buries himself in the cement. And it takes him forever to get out, but he does eventually. But Spider-Man got the win, so it took more than 2 minutes. minutes. But that's not the one that's really going to work. Beast from the X-Men has a win over the Juggernaut. So the Juggernaut's coming after the Beast, and it's like this terrain where there's like a ledge and there's the ocean's right there. And Beast is like, I don't have anywhere to climb. I can't do anything. So Juggernaut's coming at him, and Beast is like, got it. So he kicks the ground, or notices the ground's very weak. So he stays in one part. And he notices how heavy the Juggernaut is. And he says, come on, come and get me. Juggernaut rampages, and the ground gives way under Juggernaut, and he falls deep down the Trent, whatever it is, into the ocean, removing himself for way more than 2 minutes. The Beast got the win. Now, all I'm going to say is, if Spider-Man can do it in New York City, if Beast can do it on the ledge by the ocean, you're telling me Optimus freaking Prime couldn't figure out a way to do something very similar to the Juggernaut? The answer is hell yes. All that's my point number 2.
Beast, Spidey boy. No, it was the most powerful version of Spider-Man ever. Obviously,
Obviously.
Spider-Boy. It was the Spider-Man.
Yes.
But those are great examples from over 40 years ago. And one thing with Juggernaut is that he learns from all those type situations and mishaps, if you will. And guess what? He's not going to let that happen to him again.
Interesting. Debatable, but interesting. Because now we're at the turning point. Coach Tadeo, you've heard 2 points from both Eric and myself. Who do you think is ahead, and what does the other side have to do to get the victory?
Strategy matters, and good leadership ends wars and leads to victory. So, Optimus definitely has a leg up because he has that brain that has proven itself in a Krypton, or where's he from? Cybertron, excuse me. Krypton, Cybertron, and all the way to Earth because he saved humanity before.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So wait, so who's ahead? So you think Optimus is ahead? So what does Juggernaut have to do to get the win?
I want to know how fierce of a warrior he is. I want to know how he's going to try and pummel this man into submission. That's what I need to hear. Details.
See that? Okay.
No, I don't want to hear any posturing. I want details. Here, we look at the facts.
That's it. It's a win show, baby.
That's right.
All right. That's what the judge wants. That's what he's going to get.
All right. Well, let's see if you're going to give it to him. Here's your point number 3.
Well, here we go. Yes. I would like to get into Marvel level feats that will overwhelm G1 cartoon feats. At the end of the day, this matchup does come down to scale. Okay, so let's get into it. So, Optimus Prime is one of the greatest heroes in animation. Juggernaut is one of Marvel's most iconic heavy hitters. Juggernaut routinely exists in a universe populated by gods, hawks, cosmic threats, and reality warping beings. He has survived encounters with opponents operating at power levels far beyond anything commonly seen in the G1, gotta say it, cartoon. So even when Juggernaut loses, it usually requires very specific counters. Okay, so magical intervention, teleportation, dimensional removal, or overwhelming cosmic power. Optimus possesses none of those things as part of his standard arsenal. The feats Optimus relies upon are largely victories against, other Cybertronians, operating within a similar power scale, if you will, all right? But Juggernaut's feats exist in a completely different ecosystem of power. Once the fight becomes physical, and inevitably will, Juggernaut's superior durability, strength, and endurance begin to take over. Eventually, Optimus runs out of answers while Juggernaut keeps moving forward. And that, my friends, is how Juggernaut gets this win. All that is my point number 3, James.
Okay. So what you're saying is, the scale of opponents and threats and all that kind of stuff Juggernaut faces is kind of it. And he doesn't have and Juggernaut uses magic instead of technology and magic. That's something on the Who Would Win show. We often say that if it comes down to magic and technology, magic has the edge because how do you explain it? How do you duplicate it? How do you tap into it?
What is
technology can be reproduced, right? Okay. All right. Here's the thing. What if I told you there was a movie event in the 80s that showed that there's a magical element to Transformers? So there was a movie in the mid 80s called, really unique name, called Transformers the Movie. And this is exactly what it was.
Original.
In theaters?
It was in theaters and made a lot of kids cry because Optimus Prime died. in the movie, right? And he died because he took on all the Decepticons, like all of them, even Megatron at the end. I'm not going to ruin like how it all happened, but it was just like it was one of the greatest fight scenes in animation history, and it's just iconic beyond iconic. Anyway, so what happened was, and I'll get to my point number 3, but what was really cool is there was such an outcry because there was a new leader of the Autobots named Hot Rod who turned into Optimus Prime, and just the people who love Transformers were like, we don't like this guy. He can't replace Optimus Prime. They actually brought him back to life in a later season of Transformers. So that just shows you how popular Optimus Prime was. Now, one of the things, here's my point number 3. There is a magical element to the Transformers universe, and it's super powerful. And that element's called the Matrix of Leadership. Now, the Matrix of Leadership contains, the accumulated energy, wisdom, and power of many, 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 many generations of Autobot leaders. So in Transformers, the movie, there's this huge planet-sized robot named Unicron that transforms from planet to humanoid robot, whatever, kind of cool thing. And he eats planets. So at the very end, Rodimus Prime, who has a Matrix of Leadership, Hot Rod, whatever, takes it out and tries to pull it apart and open up the energy of the Matrix of Leadership. And this thing destroys Unicron. It turns out Unicron's only afraid of one thing, the Matrix of Leadership, because it has this power. Now you might say like, okay, great. He destroyed a giant robot size of a planet. Is that enough to take out Juggernaut? I don't think it is. But then when they brought back Optimus Prime in that next season, the reason they brought him back is because there was something called the hate plague. Right? Think of the bubonic plague. It turns Transformers and people like all red, and they just became rage zombies and just wanted to kill each other. Didn't matter who they were. And this thing, someone came up with on Earth, and it started infecting the entire universe. Wow. And so Optimus Prime came back, took back the Matrix of Leadership, and released the power of the Matrix of Leadership and wiped out the hate plague from the entire freaking universe. Right? And this whole magical display. So my whole point is this: something that can remove the hate plague from the entire universe versus the gems of Cyttorak to give Juggernaut his power. What would the Matrix of Leadership do against the rage, the power of the gems of Cyttorak against the Juggernaut? And this is where I think it's cool. When you have something that can affect the universe as a whole, that outdoes something that affects that person right then and there and turns him into like a Hulk level creature. In the end, Optimus Prime has the strategy. He has the know-how. He can battlefield remove Juggernaut. And he also has the Matrix of Leadership that can wipe out and affect the entire universe. That surely can affect the Juggernaut, who's on a planetary scale of power. All of that is my point number 3. I'm just going to go in the corner and flex real quick with this one. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
So my response to all of that, James, is that all you got?
Ooh.
Whoa. Is that all? Ooh. So what you're telling me is what you're telling me. I mean, this is a battle. It's an epic battle. You're telling me that somehow magically the Juggernaut's mood is going to change and become happy. And this is how Optimus Prime will defeat him, is because he's going to make him happy, a happy guy? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think it's a mood enhancer, if that's what you're asking. Although my mood was enhanced as a kid, knowing that Optimus Prime was back in Transformers. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe that, all I'm saying is something that can affect the universe at an elemental level like that. I think overpowers something that can affect a person who at best is planetary in scale of destructive capability.
Yeah, so it's like it's raining, then the sun comes out and your mood changes. That's kind of what I summed it up.
Let me ask you a question. When you run through a wall, that one time I saw you run through a wall, if I had a 20-pack of McNuggets with your favorite sauces, what would have happened? Would you have wanted to run through the wall, or would you be happy because you're eating McNuggets?
Well, actually, that wasn't a good influence on the kids. Ran through the wall, but I'm not that motivated by nuggets, all right?
I'm just saying, if something changes your mood, you're not rampaging, you're not unstoppable anymore. You've stopped because you're enjoying the deliciousness of McNuggets. Now 20% chicken. Who cares what the 80% is? All right, look, we've heard 3 points. We've heard 3 points from both Eric and myself. My parents wanted me to be a lawyer, by the way, and instead of becoming a lawyer, I'm doing the Who Would Win show. I think that's even better.
Well, let me chime in on that. I think we need to talk to your parents because the magnitude of what we're offering here, I'm not an AI fan whatsoever, another conversation, but this needs to be a college course.
Ooh,
we might be able to get into an Ivy League. I know some folks.
There we go.
This could be because...
An Ivy League man himself.
Thank you. With James, the insight you're giving us to these extraterrestrial beings and interstellar warriors, it's really something that could, improve humanity.
I think so.
So we need to get this in schools.
I'm telling you, listen, you go to the Middle East and you say, hey, who wants to take Optimus Prime and who wants to take Juggernaut or whatever? Yeah. You'll have people on both sides teaming up against you. You know what I mean? Like, this could bring peace. I'm just saying, I like to go big. I'm aiming high.
This is bigger than this is way more important than what your parents saying being a lawyer.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Mom and Dad. All right. Now, none of that's important because we have heard 3 points from Eric and myself. Judge Deo, it's time for you to make up your mind on this battle. Take us through a process. Tell us a story, if you will, and tell us who wins this battle between Optimus Prime and the Juggernaut.
So this battle between Optimus Prime and the Juggernaut shows like a classic, like I said, somebody who believes in salvation and has saved his people versus somebody who's just a villain to the point where he's even taking it out on his own blood and flesh. Stepbrother, still your blood. So we're going to say that like that. But in this battle, Optimus Prime comes into it and he is kind of a loss because he's used to Autobots rollout. He's used to a squad with him, but he's showing up alone and he sees this just monumental human who looks like a mountain standing, 8 feet tall?
9'5".
Oh, 9'5". Wow, yes. I underestimated this guy.
Optimus is about 30 feet tall. Just put that out there.
But still, Juggernaut. Continue. That's a judgment,
right.
please. Thank you.
And so Optimus Prime transforms himself from truck to the Autobot he is to engage in this battle. And all of a sudden he sees the Juggernaut and the rage, and he's confused because he's dealt with the creeps of, one of the most, the Decepticons, or their leader, Starscream, and them are ruthless. But
Megatron. Sorry.
Megatron is ruthless, but the Juggernaut is rage. And all of a sudden he swings his big paw. He might be 30 feet tall, but the Juggernaut ducks underneath it like he's doing a push-up. It's kind of cool, like a burpee.
Yes.
Jumps into push-up and gets back up, and all of a sudden you see his feet turning, and you see the momentum building. And Optimus Prime, unfamiliar, because these guys haven't studied one another, doesn't understand. He's kind of laughing like, this little mass, what's it going to do to me? But as the Juggernaut approaches and the speed and the momentum builds up, it hits Optimus, boom, and all of a sudden it shakes him to the core, or to his soul, which is a spark. And all of a sudden he feels himself driven back and back and back. And it's kind of like a time warp. They're almost transcending the space-time continuum. And in this episode of Who Would Win, Optimus Prime is rendered defenseless and not able to defend himself for 2 minutes because the Juggernaut's speed is something he's never seen before. And while he's a better strategist, he can't strategize against what you've never seen in this mystical being who is the Juggernaut.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Tadeo, the one and only, broke it down. What a delivery.
So hold on. The matrix of leadership doesn't come into play here whatsoever.
He didn't even have a chance.
Oh, you're saying so the attack happens.
This is the attack happened. He's looking at this guy. He's a mere 10 feet tall. When you're 30 feet tall, but he didn't understand perpetual motion is something that we need to study in physics. I can't remember that class too well. I don't know. I was kind of half asleep.
It was called physics.
It was physics. Okay, yeah, I did. It showed up once in a while. It once something begins that perpetual motion, it's the greatest force in the universe. And Optimus just didn't have time. Had he known, it would have probably rendered me to have a different decision. But
because of the Who Would Win rules, you have no prior knowledge, no time to prepare, neutral location.
That's where the loss comes. He knows Megatron too well.
There's certain fights where you say, okay, in the first encounter, opponent A will beat opponent B. Right? Every other encounter, because opponent B now has that experience, they win. Are you saying like this is kind of that kind of style?
This could very be one of those circumstances because there's so many ways for Optimus to battle it. But when you don't understand that this force actually can't be stopped. It's like the sun and the moon. They're spinning forever.
I love it.
All right. Interesting. I can't say I agree with this, but I do see the logic. And you are Judge Tadeo, the unofficial mayor of Beverly Hills. So I'm gonna let this stand. begrudgingly. All right, Eric,
job.
I will congratulate you on a job well done. You got the win. Tell Legion of Audience or fan base how you're feeling right now.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Just once again, just what about a story and just a detailed decision. That can only be delivered by the one and only Judge Tadeo. Thank you, sir. So feeling great, and I think I will treat myself. Done with the nuggets. I don't even touch McDonald's. Why would you? I am going to head to Carl's Jr. to get me a Western bacon cheeseburger, double Western.
Okay, off the grill.
That's fresh off the char, baby. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I am going to treat myself to double Western bacon cheeseburger.
That sounds absolutely horrible and magnificent at the same time.
Thank you.
All right, well done. All right, Judge Tadeo. Again, I don't agree with your decision whatsoever, but I respect how you came up with it, and I do want you to come back. Until then, tell Legion of Audience or fan base where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me strolling down the safe streets, not the safe streets of Beverly Hills, because we run things the right way over there with me in charge, or online at Cuerpazo.
Very cool. Eric, congratulations. You got the win today.
I love it.
I don't know if I said I disagree, but you got the win regardless.
I love it.
Tell Legion of Audience, our fan base, where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on all my socials at THE Eric with the C Holmes, HOLMES. Let's connect.
Very cool. You can find me on X, aka Twitter and Facebook, by typing in at James Gavsie. Find me on Instagram at JamesGavsie_MMA. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Who Would Win Show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube by going to at Who Would Win Show. Yes, that's right. Our podcast is only on YouTube, at least for now. On behalf of myself, Eric Holmes, today on the rest of the amazing Who Would Win production team, thank you once again for checking out another episode of Who Would Win. We'll see you next time.